I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Sonic Perspectives, we are talking with Phil Lewis of LA Guns to talk about their upcoming release, Black Diamonds, due out April 14th. Phil, welcome. Thank you so much. We spoke for Checkered Past, so this is wonderful to talk to you again. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Rob. It's nice to be here. Yeah, a very different circumstances this time from the Checkered Past, which was a very challenging album. It was an album that we all did remotely, and it was basically a file exchange album, whereas this one is just completely different animal. It was us guys getting together, sweating it out in a room, recording on a tour bus, just like the essence of what it is to be in a band.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that. LA Guns always impresses me because with each new release, you deliver an album that's not like the predecessor, yet still sounds like LA Guns. What do you think is that ribbon that ties all the songs and all the albums together?
I think it all boils down to Tracii, and he's developed so much as a writer, but he's still his own biggest influence. And like the stuff that he wrote on the debut record and Cocked and Loaded, it sounds, it's got that vibe. It's just much better.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more sophisticated. I think it's that's how I hear it.
I think your voice too ties the ribbon around all the songs, and your screams and your vocal inflections all make it together.
He's you got to be good around him. He's incredibly like dedicated, and that's not like something you just wake up one day and you can play like that. He is such a dedicated, focused musician, and he brings that out in his band, and he certainly brings that out in me. He works me harder than any other guitar player. I've worked with other guitar players, but never one as driven as much as Tracii.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, the combination of the two of us, it's great chemistry. Because we do you have a bit of friction there, and that's all right. I think the best of them do. Townsend and Roger Daltrey and Joe and Stephen, and it's just like there's something about that Cain and Abel thing, brother, just slightly dysfunctional brother thing going that we have, and it certainly keeps things interesting.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting about this album and really enjoyed, what it had more of a blues feel, I thought, and very fitting with the lyrics that seem to be about relationships and struggles in relationships. Yeah. Can you tell me a little about the headspace you guys were in while you were writing this album?
Yeah, you're perceptive. It could be. It wasn't designed to be, but it ended up becoming very much a breakup album. That's what he was going through. That's what Tracii was going through.
Right.
When we're putting it together, compiling it, and it was also happened to be while we were on tour as well. So it was bumpy, and it was obvious that from the vibe of the music, that it was coming from a dark place.
Yeah.
And there are Shattered Glass and Diamonds and You Betray, very much music background for the vibe that we were dealing with while he was going through this awful, and it's not just a breakup, there's a kid involved, and as soon as there's a kid involved, then you just got to take that stuff incredibly seriously. It's not, he didn't break up with his girlfriend. It was like it hit him real hard, and we were on the road, and you know, it was everything I could do to keep the wheels going. So he didn't go home and didn't like just pack it in, or any of us, because it was definitely, it was challenging to be around.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So you have to imagine he's coming up with, you know, he's going through this, he's coming up with songs and music that's kind of sad and, you know, a little darker. And then you're putting lyrics to it. Or were you coming up with poems and ideas and lyrics?
It's always, yeah, always the music first.
Always music first. Okay.
Yeah, you know, and that just sort of lends itself to where we're going. And yeah, we had to, the Diamond itself, the song, we had to have an uplifting end at the end of it. You know, it did, you know, a broken glass can't carry the weight, but it can shine like a diamond.
Yes.
And you know, like there's a silver lining. There's, you know, it's going to be all right. And you know, I'm glad to say, Robert, it is. Everything's fine. He's fine. We're fine. The album's fine. We got through emotional trench warfare, and we survived it, and it's made us stronger.
That's great. You know, that was an interesting perspective about Diamonds, because I was going to ask you, it's a great haunting song, picks up at the end. And I love the comparison of the broken glass shines like diamonds, and they're equally have value and they equally have shine, despite, you know, what they really are. It's very prophetic. How did you come up with that? That's incredible line.
Well, you know, I got to be honest. You know, I do collaborate with Mitch Davis, who is involved. He records my vocals.
Okay.
When the music's all done, I fly out to his studio in New York, and I spend about a week working on lyrics and songs, and so I can't take full credit for that. You know, Mitch is a brilliant songwriter, yeah. And he picks up on Traci's vibe as much as I do. So yeah. I appreciate the compliment, but I can't take it fully. Thank you.
No, it's fascinating. And yeah, you guys do great work, and you really do seem like brothers if you're able to get in tune to each other's feelings and mindset and headspace. That's
yeah.
A
good thing about having somebody like Mitch involved as a collaborator, as a lyricist as well. It breaks down a lot of tension. You know, like if I sweated over a lyric and you know, I was really happy with it, and I brought it in, and Traci took one look at it and goes, "No, I'd hate it." That would I don't want that. So it's good to have, you know, somebody to bounce ideas off before we hand it to him.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point of view. Yeah. You know what's also fascinating too is that when you guys were writing in the 80s, it was about sex. It was very edgy. Now you're writing about relationships and struggles and different aspects, and it's still edgy, and you haven't lost the edge, despite, you know, being older. A lot of the bands nowadays, you know, they're putting out music, and it's just like it should be on like yacht rock. It's, you know, some of these hard rock bands, and
I know,
I dread listening to it, but you could still put out a ballad, and it could still be edgy, and that's what I like. So how do you not lose that edge?
You know, they say don't, you know, just write what you know, and or what I do. You know, my personal life is so dull, so boring. There's absolutely zero rock star. You just got to go to another place. You've got to. It's not about you personally. It's like getting into another. It's like reading a book and getting into a character.
Oh, okay.
The more you get into it, the more it manifests itself. And you know, for it to go from lyrics to melody, for me, that's the magic That's the communion. That's the moment for me when it goes from being words on a paper to like music in the air.
Yeah.
And there's no high like that. There's nothing that can compete with that. And there are a lot of moments like that. Not every song. I mean, it's good. You know, it's great when we wouldn't do stuff, but every now and then you sit back and you're like, oh, well, yeah, that's not bad. That and you know, and there's quite a few moments like that on this record.
Do you separate yourself, the Phil Lewis that's the home guy, and the Phil Lewis who's the rock star on stage? Are you and the rock star that's writing the songs? Are you separating yourself like almost like an Alice Cooper, two separate people?
Absolutely, yes, of course.
Wow.
You know, and I do love it. You know, I do. You know, like I like dressing up like a pirate and coming out on stage and you know, ripping off wigs and you know, I do like the pantomime aspect of that. But you know, I like to have it personal as well. I don't want the entire thing scripted. Right. Always, you know, I think I'm pretty good on one-liners, and so you know, we don't stick to a script or anything. Yeah, I some people live it 24/7, you know, and good luck to I just don't have the energy. I really don't.
So you're not taking out the garbage in a pair of leather pants, right? You know.
It's funny though. It's funny because we mentioned Alice Cooper, and we do think of him as being such a thespian-like performer, and you know, switching like a shapeshifter, if you will. And yet, one of my earliest memories when I first moved to LA is Rock and Roll Ralph's about 4 a.m. He was down the baked bean aisle. He was shopping. It was like at 4 a.m, and here's a leather jacket, full eye. He'd just come off stage, and there he was shopping in Rock and Roll Ralph's, and it was like it doesn't get any cooler than that.
That is pretty cool. I always assumed that was you too. You were like 24/7 rock star. So I was kind of surprised to hear that you're a regular dude at home.
Yeah, you know, as I said, that you know that would wear me out to be 27 like that. But I do love it. I do, you know, when it's time to do it, I really do love like slipping on the mask and getting out there.
Was that even back in the 80s? Because you guys look like you lived that lifestyle back in the 80s in Sunset Strip. Did it change over time, or were you always that same guy that's, you know, mundane at home and a rock star on stage?
Yeah. Oh no. This is something that this is sort of developed. No, that what you saw was what you got back there. That was it. That was the lifestyle. That was the look. You know, the stage clothes we were wearing. There's a good chance we'd be wearing them if you saw us in the street, because that's all we had. You know, so yeah, that was a magic time, and yeah, it was just that was the time. But no, I don't think I could keep that up for something like 35 years. But yeah, just I'm so lucky to have that. You know, 1 hour a day, 1 hour a night, or you know, like to be able to go out over a weekend and be that character and sing those songs and relive that. That's lucky to have that.
You should write a book.
You know, I'm scared to write books. You know, books come back and bite people's asses. You know, it bit Steven Tyler's ass, and you know, I'd want to write a book. I'd want it to be quite spicy, you know. I don't want just to be, oh, we played this gig here, and my second gig was, you know, I'd like, you know, and honestly, I'm a bit gun shy about it, to be, you know, seeing how people's attitude and perceptions change.
Yes, and the world evolves.
Especially from somebody like Steven Tyler and Jimmy Page, you know, they were gods in the 70s. And it was just such an incredibly way more permissive time than it is now. And it's like almost puritanical now compared to how it was back. And that doesn't age well for them. It doesn't look good on those guys, I've got to say. So no, I was looking forward to it. I really thought I do have a great story, but nah, not.
It's going to stay up here.
Yeah, yeah. I got some good stories though.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You know, I saw you in June, this past June in New York City at Sony Hall.
Oh, what a great gig that was. I
That
love
was
that venue.
It's an awesome venue. And you know, you guys really brought the Hollywood vibe to New York City. I mean, the girls were dressed in leather to the nines. There was guys moshing. It was so eclectic. You know, I was
Yeah.
in a pair of cargo shorts and sneakers, but other people were full on. And I was like, oh my God, I should have got a little bit dressed up for this party. You guys really kicked ass. It was a great
Very
night.
you know, the way you describe it, you could have been describing our very first gig
Yes.
at the Cat Club.
Yep.
It wasn't a big venue, but it's such a legendary place, and it was so important for us to play it, and the welcome that we got, and the effort that people went to dress up and be part of the profound communion.
Yes.
It was religious. It was fantastic to be that far from LA, you know, to be on the other coast, and to be received like that. And that was the very first time.
Yeah.
Magic. And Sony Hall had that vibe to it
Yes.
as well. You know, people had made the effort, and the band, we were on fire that night. We were enthusiastic and happy to be there. And of course, it's right in the middle of everything, location wise down there. So it's just a really, we picked up on the excitement of the energy of being in New York, and being at such a great theater, and it was packed.
Yeah,
So
it was a great show.
We certainly were.
Well, next time you come back to New York or New Jersey, no matter how hot it is in the summer, I'm going to get dressed. I'm not going to wear cargo shorts and a pair of sneakers. I'm going to come a little bit more decked out. You had,
yeah.
mid-set, you put on your I Love New York City, your I Love New York shirt. And you said you just didn't buy that for the show. You've actually had that a long time.
Yeah.
I think the crowd loved it.
I had it a long time, and you know, when I go there, I wear it. You know, as I said, I record with Mitch Davis, and it's inconceivable of me not to take it with me if I'm going to be there. And yeah, I've had it a long time, and I wear it with pride.
Good for you. Good for you. Any songs off the new album you're looking to play live?
Yeah, we've got 3, and it's a really difficult thing to do, to pick out even one, because you know, the placement is as much an issue. But we've managed to pick out 3. We're going to do probably open the set with You Betray.
Right.
And Traci's really keen on doing Diamonds as soon as possible. I personally was like, I would have liked to have held back on it a tiny bit, and we got a couple of other rockers in there, but we're going to do that. And then you know, the other one, Wrong About You. I think the boys are wrong about you.
Yeah.
So those are 3 very different styles of songs that that represent the album, the spectrum of the album. And just the problem is where to put them, because you know, we've done these 4 albums since this reunion, and that just those songs alone is tricky. And then you got to start adding, you know, like, not adding, but you know, what we do is we can't not play Electric Gypsy, we can't not play Ballad of Jane. You know, with these are songs that we're synonymous with LA Guns, and so it's a real juggling act, but we're working on it. But those are the 3 for sure.
Cool. That'd be great. Great, nice choice of 3. I want to be respectful to your time. With tomorrow being April Fool's Day, do you have a great April Fool's story or joke that you pulled on somebody, or somebody pulled on you, that you could share?
shit, I can't think. Do you? You got a good one?
I do. I was thinking of it earlier. About 40 years ago, I was in a band. We were at the drummer's house. We were practicing, and we were practicing loud. And the parents of the neighbors came over and knocked on the basement windows. Turn it down, turn it down. I guess we turned it down a little, but not enough. A little while later, the police came, told us to turn it down. That was the end of the night. That was had to be 40 years ago tonight. And then on April Fool's, he calls me up. It was a Sunday morning. I'll never forget. And he goes, my neighbor died. He had a heart attack from all the commotion. And I was like, oh my God, were we that bad? We killed somebody? And then he got me, and I was like, oh. So that was, I'll never forget that April Fool's. That was the best April Fool's joke on me.
Fantastic. Well, good. Well, yeah, enjoy your day tomorrow.
Yes,
and
you too.
Nice talking to you, Robert. And
Always talking to you. Pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Definitely. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.